and welcome to X Chapter Channel. Today I'm coming to you from sunny Yokohama, and I'm going to talk to you about fashion. Now the first question that probably pops into your head is, well wait, if he's going to talk about fashion, why isn't he coming from Harajuku or filming in Shibuya or some other place that's a capital of Japanese style and streetwear? Well, the answer is I'm not actually going to talk about what is fashion in Japan, but actually what isn't fashion in Japan. So the looks, the clothes, the styles that you might be used to seeing in another country or wearing yourself that just don't work in Japan. The next question that's probably on your mind is, why should I pay attention to the observations about fashion in Japan from this random guy? Well, that's a fair point, and that's why I contacted about a dozen of my former students who all have extensive experience living abroad in countries like the UK, France, Costa Rica, mainland China, Australia, to name a few. And I'm sharing their observations with you today about what clothes and styles they saw there that just wouldn't fly in Japan. So let's get started. Japan is noted to be a very uniform-oriented country. Uniforms are popular, from school uniforms to company uniforms, but I think a lot of people don't realize to what extent that actually reaches. If you're coming to do business in Japan, or you're coming to work for a Japanese business, your brown suit, your olive suit, your light blue suit, any color that's not navy dark blue, black, or gray, forget about it. You do not see a variety of colors in suits in Japan. Basically, those colors I listed are all you get, and that goes for women too. One of my former female students said that when she was in London doing an internship, her co-workers more than once commented, "Why are you always dressed so dark? Why don't you have some color in your wardrobe?" And she just brought all of her business clothes from Japan, and that's what it was, dark clothes. The uniform extends to accessories as well. If you are on the clock, one of my students was chastised for wearing sunglasses when he was getting on the train to go visit a client's office. So even though he wasn't in the office or he wasn't around any clients, that space in between going to visit, no sunglasses. Socks, gotta be the same dark as everything else. If you like rocking some argyle with some color, some red or some purple or some green or anything like that, forget about it. Again, dark socks only. The uniform extends to hair as well. I know there's a big trend in the States and Europe of wearing a beard, and facial hair just really isn't a thing in Japan. You see it, but most companies aren't going to want you growing a beard or having a goatee or anything like that. In fact, if someone looks at you and says, "Oh, you haven't shaved for a while," kind of like me today, the underlying message there is, you look like a hobo. One of my students, her boyfriend, was told he needed to shorten his sideburns because they were not company approved length. And one other point for men is the style that many men have taken on abroad, which is to shave their head and just go with a bald look, also you don't see in Japan. It's just not a style that is chosen here. Yes, you see it, but those men are probably in a job or in a vocation where it's just not policed as strictly as, say, the salaryman positions are. One more detail for women, there's still a lot of archaic rules out there about wearing heels. Not necessarily high heels, but you gotta be wearing heels for work. Changing gears a little bit, but still on the topic of uniformity. Japanese university students are really pretty particular about the clothes that they wear to school. And I think that's in part because university is when people in Japan have one of their rare opportunities to not have to wear a uniform. They've come up through junior high school and high school wearing a uniform, and after graduating from university they're probably going to have to wear some kind of company uniform. So university is the chance to dye your hair different colors. It's the chance to find your own personal style and have some more fun doing shopping. And ironically, I feel like it's university in the US where students are wearing a uniform. The sort of, if you go into an American university and you look around the classroom, you're gonna see jeans, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and a lot of those t-shirts and sweatshirts are gonna have the school logo on it. So Notre Dame, University of Wisconsin, Stanford, whatever it is. That does not happen in Japan. Japanese university students don't wear university logo gear. And the one time I asked some students why that was, they seemed horrified with the idea that anyone would. So, generally speaking, I would say that university students in Japan are better dressed than American university students. I can't really speak for Europe, I haven't been to university there. I would guess it's a little more formal or nicer than the US. The US has gone really casual in a lot of ways. And one way it's gone casual is the idea of sportswear or exercise wear as daily wear. You know, something that you go out shopping in or go out to eat in or whatever. I saw a woman in the park the other day and I thought to myself, as I saw she was wearing a skirt, which skirts are definitely fashion in Japan, but this skirt happened to be emblazoned with a yellow Nike logo. And as I got closer to her and heard her speaking a language that wasn't Japanese, I thought, okay, I was right, not a Japanese person. Yoga pants, sports logo things. Sure, there's streetwear. You might see people with clothing lines like Supreme or Nike out there, but it's not, it's going to be something that is geared to be fashionable, not something that looks like you can go to the gym and work out in. And generally speaking, anything with graphics on it, sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, in Japan they tend to not represent anything in particular. There isn't a culture here so much of wearing your heart on your sleeve, so to speak. So most graphic tees will have some kind of generic, meaningless message, or it might be a clothing line like Gap or something like that. But t-shirts that represent your favorite band, a hoodie that is of your favorite sports team, that's just not very common here. If you are wearing some kind of graphic tee that has your heart on your sleeve, so to speak, it's probably because you're some kind of otaku, you know, some kind of mania or collector. That's kind of how people will look at it, like, oh, that guy really, he's really into Evangelion or whatever it is, if you're wearing that kind of t-shirt. Another part of people wearing less athletic gear is you tend to not see clothing that does much revealing of body lines in Japan. You don't see yoga pants on people, for example. One student from Australia, she commented that she used to wear a lot of crop tops in Australia, but those just don't fly in Japan. If you see people jogging on the street, they're pretty well covered up. You don't see shirtless men jogging, and the women tend to be, you know, almost dressed as if they're afraid of getting any sun whatsoever. And So that's another reason why those kind of casual, comfortable yoga pants or sweatpants or those sorts of things, just in general, no athletic wear and nothing that shows off body lines too much. One girl, in fact, said, you probably don't want to wear that kind of thing because it might get you some unwanted attention on the trains. And also, ball caps. You don't really see women especially wearing baseball style hats. In fact, it's almost a given that if you see a ball cap on a woman and she's also wearing a metallic kind of colorful jacket, usually is going to turn out to be a tourist from somewhere else in Asia, where that is a look that's okay, but in Japan you just don't see so much. And just a couple other miscellaneous things to add on. And these are kind of famous, you probably already know these. Tattoos, piercings. Yes, of course they exist, there's subcultures for it in Japan. Nowhere near as mainstream as in other countries, especially the tattoos thing. Even I'm not used to the tattoo craze in America, because when tattoos really took off, well, I've pretty much been living here that whole time, so. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, observations that you've made that you want to add, please comment below. I love when a conversation strikes up about the topics I'm talking about. There's a lot of people who've done videos about fashion in Japan, but I haven't found any like this one where they're saying what Japanese don't do. So if you have your own observations, please share. If you have a question, am I allowed to wear this, or is it a good idea to wear this or not, please comment. And remember to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notifications. I put out a new video every week. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.